What happens when you follow an anti-inflammatory diet for 30 days? Here's what changed my body, my mind, and my life. If you've ever felt tired for no reason, struggled with stubborn joint pain, found your skin breaking out more than usual, or noticed your digestion just isn't what it used to be, you're not alone. Millions of people experience these subtle, nagging symptoms every day without realizing one major underlying factor might be to blame: chronic inflammation. In today's fast-paced world, where heavily processed foods and high-stress lifestyles are the norm, inflammation silently weaves its way through our lives, affecting everything from how we move to how we think, sleep, digest, and even age. What if, just by changing what's on your plate for 30 days, you could take control of that inflammation and change your life? I took that challenge, and what happened next completely transformed my understanding of health and wellness. So I made a commitment: 30 days, no excuses, fully dedicated to eating an anti-inflammatory diet. No cheats, no processed snacks, no, just this once. I wanted to know what would really happen to my body if I consistently fed it what the science says is healing instead of harmful. I wasn't looking for a quick fix or a crash diet. I wanted to experience firsthand how powerful food could be, not just in preventing disease, but in elevating my everyday quality of life. The results were not just surprising, they were extraordinary. To understand why this worked, it helps to know what inflammation actually is. At its best, inflammation is a good thing. It's part of the body's natural immune response, triggered by injuries, infections, or foreign invaders. That red, swollen feeling you get after a sprain, or the way your body reacts to a cold, is inflammation in action, doing its job. But when that inflammatory response becomes chronic, when it doesn't turn off, even after the threat is gone, it becomes the silent architect of disease. Chronic inflammation is now recognized as a key player in almost every major condition: heart disease, diabetes, cancer, arthritis, Alzheimer's, and even depression. And much of that inflammation is driven by lifestyle, especially what we eat. The anti-inflammatory diet flips the standard modern way of eating on its head. Instead of ultra-processed, sugar-loaded convenience foods, you fill your plate with vibrant, natural, nutrient-rich ingredients that are known to help cool inflammation rather than fuel it. For this 30-day journey, I ate in full color: fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds, fatty fish, and healthy oils. Every meal became a chance to nourish my body, to rebuild and repair, rather than inflame and exhaust. And almost immediately, I started noticing changes that were impossible to ignore. In the first few days, I swapped out my usual breakfast of toast and butter or sugary cereal for a hearty bowl of steel-cut oats topped with blueberries, chia seeds, and a swirl of almond butter. Within a week, I began to feel fuller, more grounded, and noticeably more energetic in the mornings. Blueberries, I learned, are rich in anthocyanins, a type of antioxidant that actively fights inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain and body. Chia seeds, on the other hand, are packed with plant-based omega-3s and fiber, supporting gut health and reducing inflammatory markers in the blood. That simple breakfast was no longer just a meal, it was medicine on a spoon. Lunchtime often included leafy greens like kale and spinach, paired with protein from salmon or lentils, and a generous drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. The science here is compelling. Olive oil contains oleocanthal, a compound with anti-inflammatory properties comparable to ibuprofen, while leafy greens are packed with vitamin K and polyphenol, which modulate inflammation and help protect your cells from damage. After just 10 days, I noticed that the constant bloating I had accepted as normal had practically vanished. My digestion felt smoother. I no longer experienced that post-meal slump or discomfort, and I began to understand that inflammation in the gut often masquerades as everyday bloating, cramps, or sluggishness. If you find this video helpful and informative, please support the Healthy Pantry channel by leaving your comment below, liking this video, and subscribing for more daily health and nutrition tips. Dinner was where I got creative: grilled mackerel with roasted Brussels sprouts, turmeric lentil stew with fresh ginger and garlic, or quinoa bowls topped with avocado, roasted vegetables, and tahini dressing. The combination of colorful vegetables and high-quality proteins left me feeling satisfied without being heavy. Fatty fish like mackerel and salmon are especially potent in EPA and DHA, long-chain omega-3 fatty acids that help decrease the production of pro-inflammatory compounds while encouraging the body to produce natural inflammation-resolving molecules called resolvins. Avocados added creaminess and heart-healthy monounsaturated fats that also support hormone balance and brain health. Meanwhile, turmeric and ginger worked behind the scenes to block inflammatory signaling pathways and support the immune system. By the end of week 2, something truly shifted. I was waking up refreshed. The fatigue that had haunted my mornings and crept in by mid-afternoon was gone. I no longer relied on caffeine just to keep up with my day. My focus improved. I felt more present, sharper, and more emotionally stable. There's real science behind this too. Inflammation doesn't just affect the body, it directly impacts the brain. Neuroinflammation has been linked to anxiety, depression, brain fog, and even neurodegenerative diseases. Reducing inflammation, even through dietary means, can help restore mental clarity, enhance mood, and promote more restful sleep. That was another powerful change. My sleep, which had been inconsistent and sometimes restless, became deeper and more restorative. I began falling asleep faster and staying asleep longer. It's no coincidence. Magnesium-rich foods like leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, and legumes helped support healthy sleep cycles, while reducing inflammatory triggers like sugar and processed food allowed my nervous system to relax at night. And then there was the joint pain. I used to wake up with stiffness in my knees and wrists, something I chalked up to aging or perhaps poor posture. But about 3 weeks into my anti-inflammatory diet, I noticed that pain had dramatically diminished. The stiffness was gone, replaced by a sense of fluidity and ease when I moved. Whether it was yoga, walking, or simply getting out of bed, my body felt more mobile and pain-free than it had in years. Omega-3s, curcumin, and antioxidants were clearly doing their job, calming the silent fires in my joints. Perhaps one of the most outwardly visible changes came through my skin. Throughout the month, my complexion became clearer, brighter, and more even. Redness and small breakouts that had stubbornly clung to my jawline disappeared. My skin felt more hydrated, less reactive, and generally healthier. Again, this comes back to inflammation. Many skin conditions, from acne to eczema, have inflammatory roots. By removing inflammatory triggers like sugar, dairy, and processed oils, and replacing them with nutrients that support cellular repair, I gave my skin what it needed to thrive. One of the most powerful lessons I took away from this journey was that the anti-inflammatory diet isn't just about individual foods, it's about a way of eating. It's the overall pattern that matters. The consistent inclusion of whole, plant-forward meals, healthy fats, and clean proteins, and the mindful avoidance of things that trigger inflammation, like refined carbs, artificial additives, and highly processed snacks. It's about supporting the body's natural healing systems instead of constantly throwing them off balance. Now, even though my 30-day challenge is over, I've kept many of these practices as permanent fixtures in my life. It's not that I never enjoy a treat, but my foundation is now rooted in nourishment, not inflammation. The clarity, energy, and freedom from pain are far too valuable to give up. And I can say with complete confidence, food is one of the most powerful tools we have for transforming our health. You don't need expensive supplements or extreme diets, just real, whole food chosen with care and intention. If you're thinking about making a change, or if you're dealing with mysterious symptoms that your doctor hasn't been able to explain, I encourage you to give the anti-inflammatory diet a try. Start small, swap your breakfast, add more greens to your lunch, cook with olive oil instead of seed oils, choose fatty fish instead of red meat a few times a week. Let food work for you instead of against you. Your body is always talking to you. It's just a matter of whether we're listening. And now, I want to hear from you. What's in your pantry right now? Which anti-inflammatory staples do you swear by, and which ones are you curious to try? Leave a comment below and share your must-have ingredients for fighting inflammation through food. Let's learn from each other, inspire healthier kitchens, and support one another on this path to wellness. And if this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more personal health journeys, science-backed insights, and realistic tips for living your healthiest, most vibrant life. Thank you for joining us here at the Healthy Pantry. We hope you found the information valuable and inspiring. Remember, your health is a journey, and we are here to guide you every step of the way. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.